One of the key issues as part of your campaign is illegal guns, getting illegal guns off the streets in our community. Tell me about how you plan to do that. There's reference to establishing a detective unit. What's that all about?
Well, it's interesting because in all my time as a prosecutor, we have never really focused on illegal guns. We focus so much on the war on drugs. If you look at different district attorney's offices across the Commonwealth, they all have a state police detective unit assigned to them. And those detective units are typically broken down into two sides, the drug side and what they call the body side, which investigates the murder cases, the death investigations. But there isn't a faction that's dedicated to taking illegal guns off the streets. And it's always puzzled me as to why not, because I'd like to break things down. And our goal in law enforcement, of course, is to try to make it harder for people to kill each other. We all know that the most common method by which people kill each other is the illegally possessed firearm. So why don't we dedicate more of our resources to taking them off the streets of our communities? Every illegally possessed gun that's confiscated should be traced to find out where it came from. That way, it's one of these simple concepts. The more we know, the better off we'll be in dealing with the problem. If we learn that these guns are coming from a certain area, we can try to do something about it. But we're simply not dedicating enough of our resources to it. And yet, day in and day out, you pick up the paper and you read about a deadly shooting or even a non-fatal shooting in our communities, particularly our urban communities.
Are these guns coming from out of state?
They're coming from all over, in my experience. A lot of them are coming from out of state, but not all of them. It's not uncommon, for example, for a gun to turn up in connection with a crime that has been taken from a home but not reported stolen. So there's clearly an underground or a black market here as well for illegal guns. I'll give you an example. About 13 years ago, I prosecuted a fellow who was, I don't know if he was addicted or simply loved cocaine. That was his thing. But he had a license to possess firearms, so he could go into any gun store across the Commonwealth and buy guns, which he did to the tune of buying up 60 guns in the course of a year and a half, all of which he sold illegally to people who couldn't buy them on their own.
So he was using that to finance his...
Exactly. And so we found out over about a 2-year period that 2/3 of those guns had turned up in connection with criminal activity. And we successfully prosecuted him. He went to state prison. But cases like that are rare. And I think they're rare because they're not made a focus like they should be.
Let's stay on that for just a minute, because I want to understand